Hi, everyone. I'm Ken Seligson, Associate Professor and Chair of the Anthropology Department at Cal State Dominguez Hills. And I'm really looking forward to sharing with you all a bunch of recent research on the ancient Maya civilization through this two-part lecture series, The Maya and Climate Change, Human Environmental Relationships in the Classic Period Lowlands for Cal Lutheran's Lifelong Learning Program. The classic Maya civilization faced many environmental challenges, including those wrought by climate change. Researchers today understand that the breakdown of classic Maya society was the result of many long-term processes. Yet, the story that continues to grip the public imagination is that the Maya civilization mysteriously collapsed. In this series, I'll draw on archaeological, environmental, and historical datasets to provide a comprehensive yet accessible overview of classic Maya human-environment relationships that shifts the focus from collapse to resilience. So we'll be focusing on southeastern Mesoamerica, that's the Maya lowlands. And when people tend to think of the ancient Maya civilization, they really tend to think of a very short period of time within the broader span of Maya history, really focusing on what we call the classic period from roughly 150 to 950 CE, or even more specifically on the late classic period, a period of maybe 200, 250 years, when we really see tons of large sites flourishing. That's when we know we have a really intricate calendrical system. We have elaborate hieroglyphic writing, beautiful polychrome ceramics, impressive sculpture, and monumental architecture. And we are learning more and more, even to this day, about this great ancient civilization through new technologies like LiDAR detection and ranging, which scans over the forest landscape, sending down 200,000 radar pings per second that bounce off the top of the trees back up to the sensor, and you get a readout of what the forest looks like, but also gets down to the forest floor through the tiny holes between the leaves and the branches, which gives us a whole new set of visual data to see what is below the canopy. And we can find tons of new sites and archaeological features in half the time that it used to take us. So in this two-part lecture series, we'll actually look at all that we know now about classic period resource management strategies, including how they tended the forests, how they developed really intensive agricultural practices, managed capturing and storing rainfall in an area that only had rain come for about half the year. And they did all of this and were able to develop a civilization that rose to millions of people living in what is today a forested landscape. So a lot to talk about there. And then, of course, we have to address this issue that at the end of the classic period, there was a big breakdown and transformation of society. Whether you call it a collapse kind of depends on whether you focus on time scale, where you're focusing on within the lowlands, what societal aspects you're talking about. Yes, there were precipitous declines in the civilization, but people did move around. They didn't just disappear. So we've got to really tease out what we mean by collapse in this case. And that's one of the things we're going to be talking about over the course of these two lectures, when we really get into the nitty-gritty of how much we actually now know about the ancient Maya civilization.